Hey, Rod here from RAREFIED Recording. Let me show you around. Welcome to my spot. I'm going to give you a little bit of a studio tour. Down here in San Diego, by the way, the studio was designed by Wesley Show, an amazing studio designer. This is the control room. And first off, we got to talk about the AMS NEVE Genesis console, front and center here. It's a 32-channel console with a custom desk designed by Tony Brett, who also did a lot of the interior build out of this place. And yeah, amazing console. It's got the 1073 mic pre's. On this side, it's a 1084 style EQ. The other side has an 88 RS style EQ. It's got a total recall. It's got automation. It's got 2 instruments per channel. It's got 4 mono auxes, 2 stereo auxes, 8 subgroups, 4 stereo effects returns, and it sounds great and lots of functionality to it. We have speakers. We have big Dynaudio M3A speakers. They don't make these anymore, but there is a similar model that they make as well. I really do use these as my main speakers. They're not just for show. They sound amazing and give you the full spectrum from, you don't need a subwoofer, let's put it that way. There's other speakers too. You see the little Aventone mixed cubes here in the yellow creamy color. And down here, there's a little Bluetooth speaker even. So you can see how things are translating to that degree. But then check this out. If I push a button over here, ta-da! We have these Neumann Cage 310s that come up on Soundmaker motorized stands. And shout out to Chris at Access Analog for making me a little custom thing that lets me raise these up and down at the push of a button. So there's that. We got a whole credenza worth of rack gear here. Maybe I'll start over here with some highlights. Here we have a smart C1. It's like a SSL style bus compressor. We've got some 500 series stuff here, including like an A-range EQ, the now discontinued Moog analog delay, and the Moog ladder filters, API 2500 bus compressor. I got a couple pieces from Highland Dynamics, the BG2, amazing, very mute compressor, as well as a Stereo 2 preamp that they make. Moving on to the second bay, this is a GML 8200, which I believe belonged to Walter Becker of Steely Dan. Can't prove it, but it does say Walter Becker's GML on the back, so I think so. This is a Skibby Electronics red stripe kind of LA2A style compressor from Bill Skibby at Key Club Recording. Shout out to him. There is, of course, the Black Box HG2 tube saturator distortion guide that is pretty awesome. Moving to the third bay, we have some other highlights here. A pair of the new Pultecs. This is kind of the official Pultec company now. This is the mastering version of what they call the EQM1S3. Use these all the time. And some classic stuff, LA3A compressor, DBX160. At the bottom is a Master Room Spring Reverb. Audioscape is making a copy of this now. That's pretty cool. In this bay here, we have an Eventide H3000. Of course, some classic programs in there, including the Micro Pitch Shift. This is an E33609. Reissue of the Compex compressor, parent stressors, a purple MC77. Yeah, cool stuff. And over here we have the patch bay. Basically every in and out of the console and every bit of outboard gear comes here. And things are also localized in a particular way, so it's pretty streamlined if you're using the console. You don't have to do a lot of patching unless, of course, you're patching some outboard gear. But yeah, we have some 500 series gear down here too. People probably don't know too much about the Animod stuff, but it's pretty cool. Those are almost like a Fairchild kind of sound without tubes and transformers. A pair of Helios preamps, the Clariphonic EQ. Try that on snare. Thank you later. And the Elysia envelope is like a transient designer that's pretty awesome. I use it on kick drum a lot. There's some Chandler Limited, CG2 preamp, and the TG12345. That's all I just wanted to say. EQ and some standard audio stuff like the level lowers and the stretch. So good stuff. Good stuff. Also, over here, spilling into the corner, have more, including like a federal compressor that was like used by the U.S. Army, and this Palm Pi, which is a nice copy of the old Pi compressor, and a Mercury M72S Telefunken style tube pre, and a chorus echo from EchoFix, so basically like Space Echo. You can see down below here, this is the studio computer, the Mac Studio. And still rocking the old Apogee 8016X DA16X converters with a Big Bend clock. I also do have over here in green this Burl converter, which I mostly use to capture mixes off the console. Going over into this corner, there actually are some more preamps over here. Some cool old Ampex preamps that have converted from tape machines to just be mic pre's, as well as a John Hardy 4-channel mic pre. And this is actually a Bricasti reverb that doesn't have a faceplate because I use a plugin to control it, which is the cheapest way to get into Bricasti, by the way. And then, of course, an MCI JH16 tape machine. This is refurbished by Mara Machines. Thanks, Chris Mara. Shout out to him. This is actually converted to a 2H16 track. And it's a JH16, which they don't really sell anymore over at Mara Machines. But it's pretty cool because it has transformers in every audio card, so it's got a little more mojo. I do have a lot of guitars, standard stuff, Strat, Tele, Les Paul style, P-bass, stuff like that. On the other side of the room, there's acoustics, including a banjo, but also like a Martin acoustic guitar, and a little K, and this little Gretsch that's strung up for Nashville strings or whatever. So options. I'll take you through the sound lock. On the other side is a similar little sound lock that can be like an ISO booth, for guitar amps and stuff like that. Otherwise, this is the main live room. And I got a lot of keyboards, including a Boston Baby Grand piano. These are actually part of the Steinway company. So not a Steinway, but has similar kind of bones and technology inside. Behind it, believe it or not, this big box is a Pluto plate. This is a plate reverb. Really awesome to have a real plate to use on my mixes. This is actually a Wurlitzer right here. Of course, we got the Hammond organ with the Leslie speaker. This is actually a B2 with a percussion upgrade, which makes it like a B3 kind of, but apparently B2s sound better than B3s according to my organ tech. I don't know. He says my organ sounds the best I've ever heard. Not gonna, sell it, so sorry. The Leslie, thanks to my buddy Chris Hobson. He's lending me that. We've got a gong. We've got a theremin. We've got lots of pedals here on this pedal board. And even more pedals over here on top of the Rhodes. The Rhodes was recently refurbished by the same guy who works on my organ, Paul Spees. Shout out to him. Behringer headphone system. It works. And this is cool. These are mic stands. Nothing fancy, but look at the cool box that they're in. These are actually made by a fellow named Slater Swan, who has a studio in Portland called Anjuna Recording. And he also has a Westless Show design studio. These are lash leg stands. These are good for putting your heavy mics on or putting mics up really high. I think I missed maybe over here. We've got a Farfisa organ here. Got an old Bontempi chord organ, air organ. And here's like a little Yamaha 3-phase DX, like DX7 sort of thing, with a little add-on thing that lets you get knob for function on that. There's a vibraphone, Deegan vibraphone, and I mean, there's more keyboards back there. There's an ARP Selena, there's an MS-20 Mini, there's the little digital Mellotron, there's a vintage Micro Mug back there. There's a lot of stuff. And also, check this out. these panels flip around. So if you want a more kind of deader sound in here, you can flip these to the soft side instead of the diffusion side. And you can get, you know, just a little bit deader sound. So options, those are called bifusers according to West's show. So yeah, that's kind of the quick and dirty studio tour. Thanks for following along.